this is Russ. Yeah, I'm back out on the road again. Man, I am way ahead of you guys. Yeah, I think I'm like four or five episodes ahead of you guys at this point. I always feel kind of funny about it because that puts me a good week ahead of you. And sometimes events happen and I want to talk about it, but I know that you won't see it for at least a week. Yeah, sorry about the arm going across there, had an itch. So what am I riding today? Well, it's a burgundy color one. Yeah, Engwe down a little bit here, look at that. Does that look familiar to you at all? Engwe you back here. Yeah, we're riding the magicycle Ocelot Pro 2.0. Yeah, this is a very familiar bike to me since we had the original Ocelot Pro, but as you know, with this bike we have the ability to choose either a Cadence Sensor or a torque sensor option. I think right now I have it on Cadence Sensor currently. Yeah, all you have to do is you just got to push this button here and hold it in the middle. It's the I button. They'll switch you from torque sensor to cadence sensor and back and forth. So let's switch it back here. There you go. Now I'm back at cadence sensor. Why am I on cadence sensor? Yeah, it's early in the morning, man. I can't wake up. What are we doing out here so early in the morning? What time is it? 7:33. I have my watch on too. It was just easier to push the button on the cell phone. 7:33 in the morning. Why am I out so early? Well, as we all know, weather has been crazy, especially here in this area. And so I figured I got to get out there early. If I don't get out there early, then forget it. Be too hot, and I don't want to go out in the hot. So I've been watching the weather, as I mentioned in other videos. I've been watching the weather across the country, but I'm also looking at our own. And yeah, we've had some interesting weather. We've had tornado touchdowns in our area, not our particular area, but very close to us, not too far. And of course, tornado warnings. They give you a warning and they give you a tornado watch. A watch is like, hey, it might happen. You better be prepared, right? A warning is it's touched down somewhere or it's been spotted and you better take cover now. So yeah, the sirens were going off the other day. And so yeah, we were asked to, yeah, well, let's see, we'll go forward here. Give my thank yous, let those guys know I thank them for letting me go first. And so anyway, yeah, the warnings were going off, the sirens were going off in the area, so we went into the basement. Yeah, Mrs. Wright and I went into the basement, hung out there for about an hour. Yeah, luckily nothing happened for us, but we had heard that there were definitely tornadoes. And we came back up after everything was done. So just yesterday, yeah, we had a power outage. You guys ever have power outages? Yeah, power outage. Yeah, we were watching TV and sitting on our reclining chair and yep, no power. So of course when power goes out, kind of wait a while and you kind of figure, well, it'll eventually kick back in once they fix it. And so I kind of sat there and I said, well, it's not kicking in. This is going to be a while. We lost the internet, we lost everything, everything shut down. And then we got notifications from ComEd, which is Commonwealth Edison is our service providers, and of course from Xfinity and all those other guys that you have things for. They said, hey, yeah, all your stuff has gone down. Yeah, we already know that, but you get text messages, right? So So Mrs. Wright decided to check the website. Of course, we still have 5G on the phone, so she checked the website on ComEd, and they said, yeah, you might not get service until the next day, 3 p.m. I'm going, what? All night long until at least 3 p.m., and that's about 80% of the service will be back. Apparently a lot of the area got wiped out, and they said, and then the remainder you guys will get it back a couple days later. I'm going, what? Is it that bad? Apparently it really wiped it all out. So so now we're thinking, well, what about the food in the refrigerator? What about all that stuff? So Mrs. Wright, in her infinite knowledge and wisdom, said, why don't you pull out the power bank? Yeah, totally forgot about that thing. Yeah, she says, pull it out. Let's plug in the refrigerator into it. Yeah, this is the Ace Volt power bank that was given to me for review. Actually, it was KBO Bikes who supplied that to me on behalf of Ace Volt. Thank you to both of them. And so I pulled it out. I had the power bank was charged to about 70%. It was sitting at the 70% level. It was sitting there since the review. I had charged it up to 70% using solar power and also AC power. And I just kind of left it there. I didn't leave it at full 100% power. So, well, at first she tried it out on her iPad just to see if it was working. And of course it says, yeah, you got about 26 hours worth of power to use your iPad. Well, we weren't going to use it for that, of course. So we unplugged the refrigerator from the wall, plugged it into the power bank, and we saw the 26-hour dwindle. I mean, it's a lot more power drawn from, a lot more current being drawn out of that unit from the refrigerator. It says you have about 6 to 7 hours worth of power running your refrigerator. So then I started doing some calculating and said, wait a minute, if this power won't run until 3 p.m. the next day when we will get it back, I'm going to run out of power. So now I'm thinking, how do I get more power into the power bank? I mean, it's nighttime. So I'm thinking, okay, in the morning, if this thing is still not good, I'm going to have to take that power bank, unplug it, bring it to some place where I can plug it into the AC power, because it charges up obviously quicker that way compared to using the solar panels. I could do the solar panel, but by the time that thing charges up, you know, I'm hours and hours down on the refrigerator then. So of course I sent text messages out to relatives and said, hey, I may have to come over to your place and charge up, because they didn't have the power outage. So they said, yeah, fine, you know. And right after I sent them the message, yeah, the power kicked back in. So we only had the refrigerator plugged in for not even an hour, and the power come back in. But the thing is, you know, you don't know how long it'll take before that'll happen. So you got to play out the scenario and figure out what are you going to do. But here's the thing, I'm glad we had the power thing, yeah, the power bank. It really put a lot of ease of mind knowing that, well, at least we had at least 7 hours in case, you know, in case the thing did not come back on. And of course, after everything came back on, I took that thing and charged it up to 100%. I said, yeah, I'm not leaving this at a 70% level, because you never know. It might happen again, in which case I'm going to need more power than just 7 hours. I don't know where the extra 30% would give me. I'm going to guess close to 10 hours, maybe. Close to 10 hours with the power bank, so running a refrigerator. Now, of course, the sump pump down in the basement, we have a battery backup for that. So that was the alarm for the battery backup was going off, just to let you know that, hey, we're on battery power. But I've had that go off for a long time, and of course, it doesn't draw hardly any battery power. It only draws it if the sump pump is working, and there was no water or anything like that, so it wasn't running. So I wasn't fearful for that, but I was fearful for the refrigerator, because you could lose a lot of your food and everything there, and that'll add up to some dollars. So thank you to KBO and also to AceVolt for providing those units for us. It's the first time we actually got to use it for something in an emergency situation. So hey, let me know if you've ever had issues like this. I'm sure everyone's gone through some type of power loss. What did you guys do? I mean, I know that some people have generators, because I heard the generators outside kick in for some of the neighbors. But we don't have a generator. You know, I'm talking gas generators, right? Because you hear the motors running. And but the power bank really came in handy. I mean, it's not going to be infinite amount of power, but same thing for the generators. You know, once their gas runs out, they're out of power too. But they could go to a gas station, get more gas if they needed to. In our case, we'd have to charge up, and that of course takes time. But again, on the occasion when it happens, and if it doesn't happen for very, very long, it's not a bad alternative to have. Now granted, the power bank is not cheap either. I believe it was something like $18.99 and something like $5.99 for the solar panels. Now the solar panels, of course, might not be something you would all use, but hey, it was an option to use. If you have no electricity, you can't bring it anywhere, I could always charge up that way, right? But I think by the time that thing fully charges, my food would probably be gone. But hey, you know, we were gonna, I showed that as an option for people to use that if you were doing something like rag dry or something. You had somebody in a van who could help charge up your batteries. You know, they'd solar charge that thing, set it up. By the time you get there, you know, after a 60-mile ride or something, you'd have power to charge your batteries up with. So anyway, I figured I'd mention that. Now, I know it's a long mention, but that was what was on the top of my mind. All right, so weather feels pretty good right now. When I left, it was about 70 degrees. We've come down here before. I'm just riding for the sake of riding here. So I took the Ocelot Pro 2.0 because I haven't done that many videos on it yet, and I figured it was time to take it out. You know, I had purchased a I think I'm going to get off this road because they're doing construction on this road. It's kind of hacked up. I think I will have to find a way to get around this. Either that or head back. I think I may head back towards the other direction. Let's pull in here and turn around. Whoa, big bump over there. Let's do a U-turn here. Make sure we're clear, and we are. Yeah, I put a longer seat post on here so that I can get better extension. Seat post isn't that expensive. I think it was like $17.99 on Amazon. Yeah, might as well do it right. And so anyway, I was over at Sam Cycle, one of the local stores who sells e-bikes, and he's a magicycle dealer as well. So we were talking, and I was asking him, how's the magicycle sales going for you? And he goes, yeah, pretty good. He says people were buying Deere 26s. I go, Deere 26s? More so than the Deere 20? He goes, yeah. That kind of surprised me. I thought the Deere 20 would sell more than the Deere 26. He goes, no. People are buying the 26-inch version. I go, okay. He told me one lady was in there looking at the bike, and then she looked at it. She went home. I don't know if she ended up buying the Deer 26, but she was looking at Magicycle. And he told her about Russ's Wright. And then then she went home. I guess she was watching the videos, and then she came back and says, "Yeah, after watching his video, I decided to buy the bike." So yeah, good for her. Good for him too. So yeah, people are buying the bikes now. I had heard from Magicycle recently as well, and they said, "Yeah, you're doing real good, Russ. There's a lot of people buying Magicycle bikes because of you." Yeah, thank you guys. I really appreciate that. It really helps, and you know, Magicycle recognizes it, and I recognize it too. So yeah, I think of all the various brands that we've gone through our channel, the Magicycle brand has really probably been sold more to Russ's Wright viewers than any other brand, and thank you. I appreciate it. But you know, support the other brands too. If the other brands' bikes look interesting to you, yeah, take a look at those. I have most of them basically listed up. It's all listed up on in the description of the videos. Otherwise, go to russeswright.com. There's a redirect. It'll send you to the russeswright.blogspot.com website. It's just a long name for people to remember. russeswright.com is a lot easier to remember, right? So just go to the redirect, and then you'll see all of the list of the most recent things that I've put in as the things that I use for accessories, and also the links to the bike manufacturers are there as well, of the ones that I've reviewed. And then of course, if there's discounts that's available to you, it'll be there, right? Use the affiliate link first before you use any of the discount codes. That's how I get credit. Otherwise, I don't get anything. And really, I'm telling you, the affiliate stuff really has helped me. It's kept me going since retiring, so you know, I appreciate it. So what else is on there? Yeah, whenever I'm selling an e-bike, it's on there. Sometimes I make the announcement on the channel. Other times I just put it up there. So if you want to see what bikes are currently being sold by me, go to the russeswright.com website. Yeah, there's at least one of them up there now. Of course, by the time you see it, it might be gone. You never know. But so here's the thing: check the site every now and then. You know, yeah, hopping off the bike and hopping back on is always the angle always changes. Check the site every now and then to see if there's any bikes being sold, because I can't keep them all. I have to move them on. So I know one of them is up there now as of me recording this thing. Who knows if it's still there by the time you see it. And then I think I'll be putting another one up there pretty soon. So a couple bikes might be available for you guys to consider. And even if you're not looking for a bike, take a look at it anyways. You might have a friend who might be looking for a bike. And again, all of these bikes, of course, you have to come and get them. I can't ship the bikes out to you. So I'm in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, and it'll give you all the information on the website. Yeah, we meet at one of the local police stations for the exchange. Yep, cash sales, all sales final. I can't take it back after you get it, so make sure you like it. But the thing is the bikes usually have very low mileage on it. It doesn't have lots and lots and lots of miles on it. People think, well, you're a YouTuber, you're riding the bikes, so you might have a lot. You have to remember, I kind of jump from bike to bike. So it kind of spreads the miles over the various bikes. Some of them are fairly new bikes. I think the one that's up there now, I don't think it has more than, 26 miles maybe, something like that on it. So yeah, they're really good. This one's relatively low priced. Yeah, we're talking under 600. Yeah, now you're all gonna go check it out. I don't know if it'll still be there. I can't guarantee it. It might be gone by then. It's been sitting there. I just put it up a day or two ago. I haven't announced it on the channel, so unless somebody runs into it, they don't know about it until now. So you might be lucky. Go check it out. You know, some of those bikes, even though you know, it might be low in price. Could be a good daily rider, but it could also be good for somebody who's just starting out on e-biking and things. Yeah, so. And then some of the better bikes that are up, you know, that we put up there could be a replacement for what you have, or maybe for somebody else. So, all right. So anyways, let's talk about this Ocelot Pro. Talking to Magicycle, I was like asking them, I says, well, there's some new stuff coming out. I mean, if you go to the Magicycle site, you'll see there's a new bike out. Yeah, I noticed it too. And I hadn't heard from Magicycle. I was like, oh, are they gonna send this to me or not send this to me? They haven't told me anything about it. Let's cross through here first. Yeah, there's a new commuter bike from them coming out. Yeah, what's that thing called? I don't know what it's called. That's how new it is. Yeah, I just saw it yesterday. And I got alerted to it because they had a video out on the assembly of the bike. I'm going, wait a minute, what is this bike? They usually tell me in advance, and they didn't tell me about it. So I sent them a message. I go, hey, what's the deal with this bike? Am I getting one of these things? They goes, of course you're getting one of these things. You were on the top of our list to get one. They just didn't tell anybody. I was kind of surprised about that because they usually tell me a little bit in advance of something that might be coming out. He says, yeah, it's coming out. He says, it's not out yet, but it's up on the website. So you might want to look at that thing. Give you a sneak peek of what's coming. So that's coming out for review. Tell you, this might be the year for commuter style bikes. Yeah. And just like this one, the Ocelot Pro 2.0, it's got the feature where you can jump back and forth between cadence and torque sensor mode. Same thing, push the I button, hold that down, it'll switch it. I go, wow, there we go. It's the start of things to come, right? Now, I had guessed that maybe they might upgrade the other models since like the Ocelot Pro became a 2.0. I mean, are they going to upgrade the deer and all that stuff? I don't know. Don't know, but they have the new commuter style bike. So it looks like they removed the other commuter bike, the original commuter bike that was there. I think they had slowly been phasing that one out or something. I don't know. But it finally is not on the website anymore. And then replaced it with this new one. New one looks kind of nice. New one looks pretty nice, and so I had requested the same color they show on the website, which is I don't know, what do they call that color? It's kind of like a light blue color. It's kind of like the Pedigo color, the one that we had, the Pedigo bike. So Mrs. Wright took quick interest in it. She goes, oh, I wonder if this thing's gonna be better. I go, yeah, it might very well be better, because it does both torque and cadence sensor. But she liked the styling of it, just looking at the picture. She goes, yeah, I'd like to try this one out. See, Mrs. Wright has taken interest in the bikes, but she doesn't ride like me. I mean, she doesn't go out for the sake of going out to ride. If she doesn't have a purpose of going, she doesn't ride the bike. Like if we're going to the grocery store, she'll ride the bike. Or if we take a trip somewhere and it's a bike trip, she'll take and ride the bike. But you know, for me, she says, well, you're making a YouTube video. I go, I'd be out there riding regardless whether I was making a YouTube video. She doesn't do that. I mean, everyone has their own thing. Some people like to do like I do, where I'm going to go out regardless whether I had this YouTube channel or not. And others will just go out if they have a purpose, you know, getting groceries, going on a bike ride for a trip. She'll do that. Oh, some of you guys noted that how come Mrs. Wright likes the big wheel bikes? I don't know. I really don't know. Many of you guys figure, well, you know, if she's only like 5'4", she'll probably be riding the 20-inch wheel bikes. Nuh-uh, not for her. I mean, we have them. We have Magicycle Jaguar undies, which we maintain to use when we go on our trips. But she prefers to ride the big 26, 27-inch wheel bikes. She wants a regular full-size bike. Go figure. I have no idea. She likes it. I mean, I'm riding this 20-inch bike. I'm fine with it. I have no problems being on a 20-inch bike. And I'm 5'10", and I'm 231, 32 pounds, something like that. So I'm a big guy on a 20-inch bike. I'm fine with it. Somehow she likes the bigger ones, so there you go. People have asked about her riding that Rad Power Bikes bike, the Radster Road Large. You know, it's the large, it's not even the regular one. Yeah, she just steps over the mid-step. Yeah, she just lifts her leg up and steps right over it. She's quite flexible, you know, so she can move, and she doesn't have a knee replacement problem like I do, so it's not that hard for her. She's gotten used to just stepping over it. And really, with the mid-step, even if she hopped off of it, it still clears it for her, so she goes, yeah, it's not that different. It's just got to lift your leg up a little higher to get over the top. But, you know, I had originally gotten that bike with the intention to do the review and then just sell it right away. But she says, well, let's hang on to it for a while. She likes riding it. It is a quiet bike, I will tell you that. The motor's very quiet. The tires are very quiet. So, yeah, not as quiet as that magicycle commuter bike that we had that had the belt drive. Now that is a quiet bike. I mean, you can't hear that at all. There's no derailleur on it because it's a single speed, so there's no clicking from the derailleurs. The tires, you can't hear that. You can't hear the motor. It's got a belt system instead of a chain. So, yeah, that one's gone now, it looks like. But that was the most quiet bike I had. Yeah, I really like that bike. But I moved it on as well. You know, the thing is, I have to move things out to get ready for new stuff. So, little by little, even favored bikes start going away because of that. Let's turn here. So anyway, moving along on this Ocelot Pro, I'm down to 58%, it seems. It was at 100%, but, you know, I don't know if that just was because it was sitting idle for a while and it said 100, or did I charge this to 100? I have no idea. I've gotten into the habit of not charging up the batteries all the time because I don't know which bike I'm going to take. So usually what I try to do is decide the night before what bike I'm going to ride, and then I'll charge that bike up before taking it out the next day. But I didn't charge this bike up last night because of the power outages. So it showed 100%, but sometimes, you know, what the thing says and what it really does under load could be two different things. So usually I will top it off. I just couldn't do it on this one. Eight o'clock. I keep forgetting that the magicycle display actually has a clock on it. So yeah, my clock on the magicycle says 7:59. Probably from when I set the clock. It's not one of those automatic setting clocks. You have to set it, you know. So whenever I set it for, I was probably off by, I don't know, who knows, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, who knows. Where am I? Where are we? Let's just keep going. Oh, okay, uh-oh. All right, well, we're gonna go on to a busier street. Well, that's okay. That's okay. We have power on this bike. This bike can do 28 miles an hour. Not that I want to if I'm down a certain amount of power. There's not that many cars out right now. Early morning, sometimes it can get to be quite busy because you have people going to work. But yeah, there's nobody there now. Let's stop here. I don't like to get too close to trucks. You know, the thing is with this bike, as with some of the other bikes we have too, you hit that throttle, it'll lift your front tire up if you're not careful. This thing's got a lot of torque. Yeah. Mrs. Wright found that on the Radster Road as well. She was on pedal assist level 3. That one's dependent on the PAS level, I think, for the throttle of how fast it goes. But anyway, she was on pedal assist level 3, hit the torque, hit the throttle, and that thing just like took off on her. She goes, man, it lifted up the front tire. Yep, gotta be careful. Let's go down this way. Let's see what's in this general area. So yeah, so that's the extent of the things I have to tell you for today. Now I am planning. I mentioned on the last video that would have been the Botanic Garden video. Yeah, the one where I got rained on. Remember that? You haven't seen that video? Take a look at that video. Yeah, it's a long one. I know. You might say, well, an hour and something long. Yeah, I just let it run. Just kind of kept going. But I mentioned that. What was I talking about? See, I tell you, this is what happens. I lose my train of thought. When I'm looking at something, I'll just forget about what I was talking about. How do you like that for a YouTube channel, huh? Can't remember what he's discussing. Must not have been too important. I tell you, I'm really disgusted with myself. I really am. I can't believe that always happens. This is what happens when you're getting older, I guess. You just lose your train of thought. Who cares? Who cares? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Doesn't bother me all that much, but but still, it's kind of a pity, You start talking about something, and all of a sudden, just can't remember what you were talking about. No, really, that happens to me. I look at something, and something pops into my brain. I start thinking about that, and the next thing you know, I can't remember what I talked about. This is the problem as we're getting older. It's just you're not the same as you were when you were younger. It's just the way it is. So, how are you guys doing on that? I mean, do you guys have those issues? I apparently have that issue. Never was like that when I was younger. I had a pretty sharp thing. I can usually ramble on and on and on and on. This is my friend says you got the gift of gab. Yeah, I kind of do, I guess. But the thing is that all happens based on what I see and what prompts me to say something about something. Like I'm going past this school here, and I see their new sign up there. I go, oh yeah, that's kind of cool. Wasn't there before, right? Wasn't there before, so they upgraded some stuff. Makes the school look better. Yeah, all their buses are out and everything. Actually, we ride past a number of schools every time I go around. Yeah, there's a number of schools around this general area, I guess. Now, shout out to Rip One Outdoors. I know that he watches our channel. He has his own channel too. He may be out of commission for a while. He was mentioning that he might be getting a knee replacement done. Yeah, well, good luck, man. Hope it goes well for you. Like I said on my thing, that's what started. Well, it didn't start my channel, but that's where my channel went to for 2 years, because it took me forever to get back. Couldn't even ride a bike. I mean, I couldn't ride a bike before the knee replacement. This one of the things that I always said. In fact, if you watched one of the very first videos I did just before I went in for the knee replacement, I mentioned that I was on my mobility scooter going through the bike path, saying when I'm done with this knee replacement, I'm going to ride this bike path on a bike. Well, I never did. I ended up riding at with an e-bike, right? But I never did with my mountain bike that I had. But that's what started me on the 2-year journey of trying to get my knee back in place. It is now. I mean, I'm fine now. People ask how's your knee all the time because they know it was such a long process for me. Hopefully yours won't be like that. Many people finish off in about 3 months. A friend of mine, she had her knee replaced as well. In fact, she even drove me to a couple of my doctor's appointments because I couldn't drive. You know, when you're on the meds and stuff, you shouldn't be driving. I wasn't on the meds long, but I was during that time. So she drove me there, and she had her knee replaced, and she was back in about 3 months. She was dancing at her son's wedding after a couple months. I couldn't believe it. She's walking up and down stairs and everything. She did really well. So some people, the knee replacement is not so bad. I mean, yeah, you're going to go through pain. She did too, but she didn't have the long process I did. But then again, sometimes it does take a while. And mine's took 2 years, nearly 2 years to get back to where I was actually back to functional. So to him, let me encourage you to do your physical therapy, okay? I mean, constantly work on it. Get that thing to bend. But don't forget about the extension, all right? I mention extension a lot while I'm riding my bike because I want good extension even when I'm pedaling. But don't forget about your extension. A lot of knee patients forget about that altogether. They just work on just bending their knee, which is of course important, but don't forget about extending the knee, because if you can't get 0 degrees of extension, you can't walk well. I was at 10 degrees of extension for a long time, and then through the help of Joint Active Systems, who was the knee brace company, who gave me 2 knee braces back to help me out. They didn't charge me for it either. It was rented to me initially, but then they reached out and asked me how I was doing, and so they says, I says, yeah, I could probably use the knee brace back, but I don't think the insurance is going to cover it. They gave it to me anyway. I'll explain why in a second. And so with that help and working on it at home by myself, because the pandemic had happened at that time, so nobody was going in for physical therapy and things. I was able to get back to 0. But when I was at 10% or 10 degrees of extension, couldn't walk well. Your knee is always bent a little bit, so you need that 0 degrees of extension. So just work on that too, okay? And then we'll see you back on YouTube when you're back up and running around. So hope everything goes well for you. All right, so the whole thing with Joint Active Systems, let's go off a little bit onto that, a little tangent here. My shout outs to them for helping me out. It's because of them really that got me back to where I should be and how I was back on the bike and everything. So it's worth a lot of these mentions of things that have, like the Ace Volt and this thing now. Yeah, it's about time I mentioned some of these companies again. They gave me the knee brace and they said, maybe we can help each other. Well, we'll give it to you. We won't charge you for it, but in the meantime, we want you to give us back data, your daily data. So they were monitoring it through an app, and they were monitoring my progress, and I would send them my data weekly so they know how I was doing, and we were checking out a new screw for that unit to see if that thing was worth doing. And so I was helping them, they were helping me. But yeah, thank you to them for helping me out. And yeah, I am pretty much back to where I should be. Maybe that's what I was talking about. I'm pretty much back to where I should be. I don't have the leg strength I used to, of course. So that's why I can't pedal as hard and as fast as some of you guys can. But I'm functional. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. The second knee, which I originally was going to do like 3 months after the first knee was done, I never did. And I'm glad I didn't, because I seem to be fine on the right knee. I think maybe all of the problems on the right knee was caused because of the left knee. Yeah, because you're walking funny and stuff. It kind of messed it up. And now that I'm walking better, yeah, the right knee doesn't seem to have any problem. I don't feel anything with problems with the right knee anymore. I do feel it in the hips. You know, people said maybe you need a hip replacement. I don't know. You know, the doctor, when it was originally x-rayed, they said, I don't see any problems with your hips, but I could feel it. You know, that's usually now the reason I use the mobility scooter is not so much for the knee problem, it's more for the hip at this point. But again, you know, my knee's not that perfect and stuff, so I still have my permanent handicap placard because I think I still have permanent problems, you know, between the hips and the knees. It's just a matter of whether you decide whether you want to go for a hip replacement or you don't. At this point, my answer is no. I don't want to do any more than I have to at this point. After going through that knee replacement, I said, forget it. I'm not doing it. I think a lot of us feel that after doing some major operation like that. It's like, never again, you know, but sometimes you have to, so. All right, that's all I have for you guys. Thanks for listening to all of this stuff rambling from me. I just wanted to get out, you know, before the weather starts getting bad. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let us know if you have any issues with your joints. Let us know if you have any issues, and if you think you're gonna need to go through any of these things down the road, because and we're all getting older, right? It happens to everybody. Everyone's got issues on something. Memory, knees, hips, falling apart. Talk to you guys next time.